you're one of our haters who are out there watching.
I want to warn people about hypnoporn.
I need to stay meta.
Stop that.
Need new tires? Like what?
If Jim would shut up for a second.
Oh, high fidelity.
Okay, don't tell me to shut up.
I'm not whining.
I eat doggies. I eat doggies. Feels like a party.
Stop that.
It's a war. They have made it so that I cannot be celebrating July 4th.
I don't care. I'm gonna lie. I'm not gonna pretend. I don't care. How do I think? That's what I think. I don't care.
This is 6 Degrees of Stew. You don't need to stay meta, but I'm glad you're here.
Death received mythological immortality within the larger lore. David would use Pete Peterson, a man who foreclosed on his home after his wife died, a man who promised David his entire life's work only to leave him a hoarder's house full of urine and dead cats. His digital identity would live on, however, through the world of the New Age secret space program and those that propagate that ideology.
Hey, can I just say something about that?
Corey, would you?
You sure can.
Vehicle
commercial,
breakdowns
perfect.
are costly.
Did I pause? No,
but
I
with
did not. There you
endurance,
go. There's nothing surprising that this guy that they're talking about left him with a hoarder's house with dead animals in it. That is what you used to typically find with the people that followed this stuff.
Yep.
That
It's sad, really, because he
and-
was a
and-
Cassidy whistleblower too.
and you know, the only reason that you're seeing, you know, I guess when Jordan does his videos, he has a nice, clean, tidy background and shit. That's because they know that everything has to be an appearance. Some of the worst homes that I've cleaned in were for therapists, like, and I'm talking hoarder houses, and I'm like, you're a therapist? Ooh. But
Yeah.
these are symptoms and signs of a disordered mind. This guy's probably like old school conspiracy theorist, and his mind has rotted away.
Yeah.
It's just there's something important there to the fact that the house was a hoarder house with dead cats. And here's something else to consider. There was a study done on toxoplasmosis in which scientists infected rats with the toxoplasmosis, which is a parasite that is usually spread through cat feces. The rats, after being exposed to the toxoplasmosis, began to be less afraid of the cats, which made them easier to eat and therefore easier to pass on the parasite.
Huh.
People who are toxoplasmosis exposure can be a cause of like syphilis. It fucking fucks up your head, like not your face, but not that I know of, but destroys you. Toxoplasmosis can destroy your brain.
That would make sense for a lot of hoarders having that, especially if they have the cats in there, and then that
they
starts to
do
occur.
mention that. They mention which came first. Was a nice little lady inadvertently exposed to toxoplasmosis, and then she began hoarding cats? There seems to be a correlation between the exposure and the cat hoarding thing. So I just also wanted to point that out, that not only is his house a sign of disordered mind, the dead cats there, this guy might have been exposed to.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And there was actually a really good article in 40 Times magazine, the magazine that continues the work of Charles Fort, you know, like cataloging weird shit that happens. That was actually where I first read about it. And then years later, I was like, was this a real thing? And it was a real study, but that's something to consider, that these crazy cat ladies might be crazy because of cats. Yeah, like because of an exposure. Yeah.
That's interesting. gonna have to read into that. That's it. I'll just type in crazy cat lady phenomena. I'm sure something will come up.
You could never pay out of pocket for a costly repair again.
They covered a $14,000 engine replacement.
Don't wait. Visit EnduranceWarranty.com for $300 off any plan.
Who's William Tompkins, a Navy man born in the 1920s.
God, they took advantage of.
During the tumultuous
I
times
think in
of
his
World
younger
War II,
days,
he served as a draftsman and designer at Naval Air
cooperated,
Station
but
San
in his
Diego,
later years,
where he was
maybe
involved in the
dementia
conception of
or
advanced
just
aircraft
being
designs.
old or
As time marched on,
senility.
Tompkins ventured into the realm of extraordinary secret UFO designs, anti-gravity spacecraft, and even extraterrestrial collaboration and technological advancement. With the help of Dr. Michael Salla, Tompkins would release his 2015 autobiography, Selected by Extraterrestrials. These stories were further expanded upon in various interviews on Gaia and on social media platforms, most notably with Jordan Sather.
Jordan Sather, baby.
At times, he would appear confused, lending credence to the idea that he was suffering from mental decline while promoting this material. Bill Tompkins died in August 2017 on the day of the Eclipse
Watch how
of
they
Disclosure
exploit this
Conference,
shit.
the same day as the North American eclipse of 2017. His death was announced at the event by Dr. Salla and Jimmy Church.
Michael. We have an update. Michael Salla. I heard from Bob Wood this morning that Bill Tompkins did pass this morning at 2 a.m.
It's going to be out there for us to use as a tool forever.
He will be out there for us to use as a tool forever. That means they can use his name forever, all the interviews, and guess what? We can channel him. We can reach him from the other side on the astral plane. This guy will be used forever to grift off of, which is absolutely disgusting. And we know that they're going to do that. They're just disgusting.
You need to think about that. I said it earlier today, and I really mean it. Bill went to the edge of the cliff and took a peek for us. You guys understand that?
Yes.
Let's raise our glasses to Bill William Tompkins.
Love you, Bill.
Right.
Can't wait to grift off you, Bill.
Bless you.
All right. Now drink to Bill.
To Bill.
Jordan Sather making content with this
Thoughts
camera
and
right
prayers
out
are
there.
with him. Tonight, when we get up to the mill, we will gather everybody and we will do a nice meditation and a proper prayer for him. Again, Bill Tompkins. Right now.
Woo! Thank you.
Let's celebrate.
Can you
It's been a
join
great
us from
night.
the other side if he gets there?
And he's with us from the other
The legacy
side.
of this story is now woven deep into the rubric of this New Age narrative.
Knew it.
The use of these elderly sources is problematic at best, as they cannot verify their story, usually due to it being decades ago, and likely untraceable now because it happened somewhere so classified it would never get out. Apart from them bravely talking about it on television, more mythologization. The use of these sources is a key way they corroborate their own stories. Get a guy, possibly with dementia, get him to agree with everything you say, and get him to believe it when he says it. Film it, make it look nice, release it, bolster your own self-perpetuated narrative, profit.
For risking your life.
Thank you. When did you find out about Bill Tompkins?
Bill Wood, who is a friend of mine, is a UFO researcher and a scientist.
I need to check my chat. Something is something happened in DC, I think. Hang on one second.
Yeah, I messaged you in the studio chat, like the private chat. I'm like, oh my god, what's going on?
Hold on, let me look. It looks like a plane and a helicopter collided somewhere in DC. Up to 60 people are apparently dead. American Airlines plane and a Siler Sky coming from Kansas.
American Airlines, again, the American Airlines accounted for 2 of the planes on 9/11.
Oh gosh, how tragic. I'll see if I can find an article on
You know
that.
what they're going to be saying. It's fake. It's staged.
Oh my gosh, how horrible.
I wasn't smiling like mocking that it happened.
No, but that's conspiracies are going to start going for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting, Spencer. That is, thank you for letting us know, Taylor. My gosh. The spirit, yeah, of course, the conspiracies. I'll look for, if you find an article, Taylor, on it, if you can share in the chat, I'm going to look too. My gosh. Okay, I'll resume this. Fuck.
Yeah, there's a ground stop at Reagan Airport.
Oh, hang on. Go ahead, Steph.
And told me about
there's an FAA ground stop at Reagan Airport only. That means no one is to take off or land at that airport. That was where the plane originated from.
Oh gosh.
And individual ground stops, just a fun historical fact, are that they do happen occasionally whenever there's an issue, but the first instance of a nationwide ground stop was on 9/11. That was the very first time when everyone everywhere canceled. So,
Oh
but
my.
yeah, but there is a ground stop, and that's something that they have to do for the investigation, because they're going to have like a big FAA investigation. They're going to have to go through, and if the military is involved, and Kansas also is the ground zero for a huge tuberculosis outbreak right now.
Oh no. Fuck. Jesus.
Because Taylor said it was coming from Kansas. So like, yeah, that might not mean anything, but you know, this,
Yeah, we'll look for news articles, and thank you for the updating us, Taylor. I heard my phone going off, and I was like, I just thought our chat was regularly chatting. Like, it's my like J6 convoy kind of chat with Taylor and all them. And I thought, oh, they're just like chatting it up. I'll turn off my Windows link because it was really popping off when we were doing this. And I was like, oh, wait, some shit must be going on. I checked the live stream chat because I was like posting those links, and I have to go to a different window. And I was like, oh, wait, something's really happening here. Oh, gosh. Okay.
Bill Tompkins called me. Although I was initially stunned by the alleged facts he presented as being incredible, I listened.
He said he had a story to tell, and he's told me to buy his book. So I bought his book. I can't remember the name of it, but I read it in like one night. So I said, I got Bill's information, and I thought, well, I'm going to go interview him. I can use the footage somewhere on Gaia, right? So we went out to San Diego. And
what year was this?
2016, April 1st, my 4th anniversary of being at Gaia. We set up the camera, and we did 3 hours with Bill. He was 95 years old. And we went back, and everybody viewed the film, and they all said, well, let's put it on.
I think I have a live video stream from ABC News. Let me see here. I'll pull it up. If it will load. Mute. ABC, are you going to play for me? Maybe, maybe not. ABC's thinking about it. All right, I'll get a different one. ABC is not loading. I'll see if I can find another one.
He was talking about 20 and back, and bases on Mars and the moon, and all this. Although none of that was in his book.
What was in his book?
Just that he had was working in aerospace companies, and that he had taken submarine designs and redid them for use in outer space.
Right. So like that locked air environment.
Yeah.
And just repurposing a submarine to be a floating spaceship.
Yeah, and he had these really cool models of these ships that he had made and all that. And, but, you know, my alarm bells went off because, you know, and when I was interviewing him, he's suddenly talking about 20 back, which wasn't in the book. And then I went to dinner with him after the interview, and I said to Billy, said, that's incredible that you know all about the 20 and back program, because that Corey Goode is always saying that he was part of that program. And he said, he seemed a little bit confused. And then I said, can I ask you a question? Have you ever talked to a guy named Michael Sala? And he said, oh, yeah, Michael calls me up.
All the time?
And I thought,
Hello, I'm Corey Goode. The last couple of years, I've been
because Pete Montine is back with me. Pete, what have you learned?
I have this statement now, a bombshell statement, really, from the Federal Aviation Administration. I'm going to read it to you verbatim. PSA Airlines Bombardier CRJ 700 regional jet collided in midair with a Sikorsky H-60 helicopter. That's a Black Hawk. While on approach to runway 33 at Reagan National Airport around 9 p.m. local time. PSA was operating flight 5342 for American Airlines that departed Wichita, Kansas. FAA will investigate. NTSB will investigate. NTSB will lead the investigation, the FAA says, and the FAA says it'll provide more information.
Sorry,
as it comes
NTSB
in.
is the one that does the investigations. I apologize.
Only was this a crash involving a commercial flight, this flight 5342 from Wichita, Kansas to Reagan National Airport, but that this was a midair collision with a helicopter. This was a midair collision, not with any helicopter. This was a midair collision with a H-60, which is more colloquially known as the Black Hawk helicopter. The approach, I'm stumbling over my words here because this is just so staggering that there is a midair collision involving a commercial airliner.
Oh God, I almost got Trump's voice. Jesus Christ. Well, there's a little update for everybody. That's quite tragic. I don't know what to say for the families. There's no good words. I mean, I guess we'll watch for aid that can be, put out for them and helping the families and stuff. Keep updated.
I'm not sure if it's the footage that Stephen was talking about, but I did a search for midair collision and CCTV, and yeah, you just see like. So I watched it, so y'all don't have to.
Yeah, I don't want to see that. Oof, oof. Or maybe on my own time sometime. Okay.
But I'm guessing no survivors, I'm assuming.
I can't imagine. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to back this up for a few minutes because I missed the part where Spencer was
program.
obviously referring to.
We went out to San Diego, a scientist. He contacted me and told me about Bill Tompkins.
Bill Tompkins called me. Although I was initially stunned by the alleged facts he presented as being incredible, I listened.
He said he had a story to tell, and he's told me to buy his book. So I bought his book. I can't remember the name of it, but I read it in like one night. So I said, I got Bill's information, and I thought, well, I'm going to go interview him. I can use the footage somewhere on Gaia. Right. So we went out to San Diego. And
No, Taylor, that's an important story.
2016,
no,
April 1st, my fourth anniversary.
I would have known about that.
We set up the camera and we did 3 hours
This
with
Bill
Bill.
Tompkins guy
95 years old.
has a
And we
book
went
called
back
Selected
and
by
everybody viewed the film, and they all
Extraterrestrials.
said, well, let's put it on cosmic
Selected
disclosure.
by
Have Corey
extraterrestrials?
Yeah, the Bill Tompkins guy, I just looked him up. And he's also in the Miniature Engineering Craftsmanship Museum because he's been a toy model builder since the age of 9. So that's pretty much the most normal thing he's done with his life. But his book is called Selected by Extraterrestrials, My Life in the Top Secret World of UFOs, Think Tanks, and Nordic Secretaries.
Wait, Nordic Secretaries?
Yep.
Okay, that's a new one. I haven't heard of Nordic Secretaries, so props for creativity.
Yeah, well, I haven't heard that either, but that name sounded kind of familiar to me, and I don't think I've heard of him before, but I did look him up, and again, of course, selected by extraterrestrials. Everyone's such a very special person in this world. Everyone was
Super
Napoleon in a former life. They weren't just some run-of-the-mill schmuck like you or I.
No, you have to be super special.
You have to be
So
chosen
special.
by extraterrestrials.
Sadly, I've never been chosen. I don't know why. I'm just too ordinary.
They did try abducting me once, and I was like, look, you guys, I don't really believe in this bullshit. And they were like, really? And I could totally understand what they were saying because they're able to, you know, babble fish or whatever.
Yeah.
But you know that once I stopped believing in them, they went away.
You know,
How
I
funny
take
is
that
that?
back. When I created the Into the Studniverse account on Blue Sky, I did get invited to join the Illuminati. I thought about it for about a second and blocked them. So there was that. But I don't think they were the real Illuminati.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I don't think what's his name? Adam Weishaupt can survive for over 200 years.
Yeah, and I don't think they would recruit on Blue Sky. That seems sus.
Yeah.
And David comment on it since it's so close to what Corey was saying. He was talking about 20 and back and bases on Mars and the moon and all this. Although none of that was in his book.
See, they just inviting everybody.
Just that he had was working in aerospace companies and that he had taken submarine designs and redid them for use in outer space.
You mean his miniatures that he made that Steph told us about?
That locked air environment.
Yeah.
And just repurposing a submarine to be a floating spaceship.
Yeah, and he had these really cool models of these ships that he had made and all that. And but you know, my alarm bells went off because you know, when I was interviewing him, he's suddenly talking about 20 and
Oh,
back,
20 and
which wasn't
back.
in the book, right? And I'm like, wait a minute, where's he getting this from? You know? And so, you know, I was like trying to figure it out. And then I went to dinner with him after the interview, and I said to Billy, I said, that's incredible that you know all about the 20 and back program, because that Corey Goode is always saying that he was part of that program.
No, this is still it.
And he said,
Okay.
he seemed a
They
little
must
bit
just be playing
confused.
from part one
And
a
then I
little
said,
bit.
can I
To
ask you a
refresh
question?
the
Have you ever
memory.
talked to a guy named Michael Sala? And he said, oh yeah, Michael calls me up.
All the time?
And I thought,
Hello, I'm Corey Goode. The last couple of years, I've been disseminating information on a program called Cosmic Disclosure on Gaia television. A lot of my information very closely relates to Tompkins, and Dr. Saul and we've both been working
I was
on
just making sure my
doing
brain
Freedom,
was okay, and I
of,
was
Freedom of
not
Information Act
imagining
requests to try to get
Having
more
that deja vu
documentation
thing.
and further information to corroborate what I've been sharing publicly.
yeah, he's 95 years old. And I can't say I wasn't in on the phone conversations, but it could be that it was
Fucking hell,
accidentally implanted into Bill by Sala somehow, you know, by asking, did you know about the 20 and back? No, what's the 20 and back? Well, the 20 and back is this. I'm
I guess
speculating.
that's why
I
Jordan
don't know what
Sather was
happened.
so excited.
But I do believe that there was a
QAnon's
information
wet dream.
contamination
Now they just need to send
going on.
everybody in this 50,000
I did this on
50,000
Friday night when I
indictments.
presented on Bill Tompkins' testimony, where there was a lot of documentation supporting
Look at Bill Tompkins. He can barely
Bill's
hold his head
claims
up.
that the U.S. Navy out of Naval Air Station San
They do
Diego
stuff.
actually had a covert espionage program to learn about what the Nazis were doing, and that in the 1950s, through the documents that Bill has supplied from Douglas Aircraft Company and other companies that he worked with, and what we can get from public domain, there were a number of U.S. corporations that were working with the U.S. Navy in building these anti-gravity craft.
All right, very good.
And so we got back and we used the video, and Bill Tompkins became a big, huge hit.
Richard Dolan, you've written so eloquently about many aspects of the secrecy of the UFO program. Do you think there's still some secrets yet to be uncovered to get the whole truth? And is it possible, even possible, that some of your fellow panelists are close to getting some of the right
Some of them?
answers, and then address your view of evidence of the secret space program?
All right, well, I'll answer that, but I really want to respond to everything that's been said up till now. I have to. This is something that's not based on any evidence, any logic, and it is a purely sensationalist statement that I really have to question why it's being discussed at what I would say is a serious UFO conference, where
Good for this
what
guy
we're
who likes
dealing
UFOs,
with
and he's
is,
like, this is absurd.
I have to say, nothing more than the collection of the most dark, tawdry, sensationalist stories that have circulated in our culture over the last century, which any outsider would say looks like a mishmash of everything that looked really cool and interesting and out there, and we've just gathered it together and put out there, and now stating as fact.
That's where that documentary kind of blew up, where I interviewed Bill Tompkins.
I'm Bill Tompkins, and I was a third-class seaman in the Navy back in 1942, and I got a job as staff to Admiral Rigabata. Come on here. Do you guys understand what happened?
Come on, do you
the
know?
Third Reich and the SS, they didn't just give them a manual to show them how to make it. They gave them brand new, shiny UFO vehicles that were in the Navy space organizations of the Draco Reptilians.
Draco Reptilians
At the time,
and Nazis?
I was convinced based upon what Corey, David, and Michael Sala were writing and reporting on Bill Tompkins.
When you were talking about how you're part of this inner circle, you're in the basement of Corey's house in Colorado. He says, this guy at Kinko's takes a gun out and he says to me, you better friggin' give me these documents. How do the inner circle members not call him or ask questions after that? Like, really? Like, how did you get out of the shop? He's got a gun on you and stuff like that. Do you think that there's
Apparently
fear?
Spence.
There's fear behind it, of course. I mean, when it comes to any group of friends, business group, networking group,
They were busy.
any cult-like group, you want to be accepted, so you tend to not question as much as you should, even if you're thinking it in the back of your head. I mean, even since the beginning, I met Corey and David, Corey especially. There's a little something back there questioning, like,
They really should have won. All things considered.
One thing about my YouTube channel, I had my YouTube channel censored off YouTube in October 2020. Okay. So I had it from 2017 to 2020, about three and a half years.
Because I was selling dangerous toxic chemicals to people and telling them to fucking drink it and shove it up their children's assholes.
Yeah, I know. That's interesting it was censored, but he doesn't say why.
Look, these
Did an interview
people,
with Corey
they don't
Goode on
know
my
what
YouTube
real
channel.
censorship is. Real censorship is what is starting to happen right now in this fucking country.
Mm-hmm.
That's what real censorship is. These people, they don't fucking know. And we're
Not
just
a
starting
fucking
to figure
private
it out.
company saying you can't, these are our terms and services, and we said you can't be on our
And-
platform anymore.
And when those private companies are closely aligned with the president, that's getting there. That's getting there.
Exactly.
And then right around that same time, all of the fucking mainstream media outlets acquiesce.
Yeah.
The Guardian is going after Trump hard, which is why I'm so upset that they published that article about Pam.
I
Because
know.
they are going hard against Trump, and they're one of the few that's taking a major stance against it. And I'm all for that. And I would actually buy a subscription to them and support them if they would retract the Pam thing.
I know.
But this is what real fascism is happening. It is here.
It's here.
Right fucking now. It's happening, and we knew it was going to happen, and it's happening right fucking now. These assholes, Jordan fucking say they're fucking smug. What a fucking sorry.
I told you. No.
These people sit here and go, oh, the Nazis were bad. The Nazis were bad. Let's make them happy again. Da, da, da.
I know.
Idiots. Pure idiots. And I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to make it sound like I was.
No,
a
I know what you
disabled
were
person
just
when
doing the dumb voice. No, I know what you were doing.
Right. I'm sorry, but I realized it could be misconstrued as that, and I didn't want anyone to take it as that. But this guy, look, we need to stop playing nice. I'm sorry to sound so nihilistic, but we need to stop playing nice. We need to
No,
stop
I think we played
assuming
nice for too fucking long. And that's what got us here.
and
That
these,
whole
these
when
pe-
they go low, we go higher. Fuck that shit. No.
Yeah, no. And fuck all of these people, because they hurt people.
Yeah.
And yeah, was the, like poker said, there's a difference between, you know, being red pilled and true, actual, real belief.
Yeah.
And that's what these people are doing specifically. I am to blame for believing some of their bullshit too. I take responsibility for being gullible and for being naive and for, you know, Dunning-Kruger. I take full responsibility for my half of this. And I'm taking more than my share of responsibility for this. And
I
so are
told
many
you
other
put a
farmers.
lot of weight on you. Sometimes it's not warranted. I'm like, Steph, you can ease up. Like, you're doing some good stuff now.
But these fuckers won't take anything. They won't. They won't admit that they're wrong. They will if they discover that there's more money in it. But there's more truth in lies than there is in truth. I mean, more money, money. There's more truth in lies. Well, maybe there is, but you know, that's what that just like, you know, it's like if there was like some rich left-wing benefactor that came to Jordan Sather and was like, $10 million, buddy. You got a 2-year podcast.
Denounce everything.
Denounce everything. He fucking would.
Oh, so fast. Oh, he would be like, yes, absolutely. Because he doesn't really believe all this shit. He does not. But it gets him money. It gets him views. It gets him clicks. No. He'd take the money and run.
And you know, and it's like with Rowling. She's so fucking rich, and her books will always be remembered, unfortunately, that it's like the Nobel Prize disease.
Yeah.
I've achieved like this great big goal that I never even really set out to do, and it's amazing and historical. I can just be an asshole now. You know, fuck all of these people.
Eat the rich.
And fuck the poison that they infect in everyone. And
that's why I get so pissed when Jim, and he just did it a couple months ago, and it was to In the Matrix and Shady Grove. And he was like, I know you guys are really deep down nice guys. No, fuck that, Jim. Like, the poison that they have put out and hurt people, and the things that they say, and the anti-Semitic
he doesn't
shit
really
that they
believe
prop up.
that. He's just trying to manipulate them. He's just trying to manipulate them, just like how Alex kisses people's asses when it behooves him. But it's also, you know, and what we know of Jim, him kind of like taking that rhetoric. That's like, you know, when the one pickpocket sees the other pickpocket on the opposite street corner, they're not going to rat each other out. They're going to wink. Hey, I like your form, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Stu is doing when he's telling Shady Grove and In the Matrix with 3 X's that that they're good people deep down. That's the wink that the pickpockets give each other, man.
Yep. Good analysis there. Fuck these. All of them.
Fuck them all.
Because you knew.
Never put David Wilcock on my YouTube channel. I wouldn't say because I knew, but because there was still something back
You
there,
didn't want
and I
them to
wanted
cut
to
in on
keep
your slice
some
of the pie
semblance
on
of
YouTube.
independence. Want to keep a little bit of independence, do my own thing, and sure, yeah, I worked with them
You're
on some
business
projects
savvy.
and went to some events with them, but never once did I have an interview with them. I guess the inner circle never questioned Corey was because they wanted to be accepted.
Yep.
You start questioning Corey, guess
Stay
what's
in your
going to
lane.
happen? You're not going to come to the events anymore. You're not going to get paid, if you even get paid in the first place, right? You're not going to be a part of the group. You're not going to get the promotion and be able to use our fame and use our popularity, right? So it is kind of like unspoken, indirect blackmail in a way, right? Like, you're not going to get these things, these benefits, if you start questioning. and it's gonna be frowned upon. You're gonna be pushed
No,
out of the friend group.
You know I'm
It's a
lying.
power play.
I
It's
know
a power
you're
play.
lying.
When did you
I'm not going to call it your
and
bullshit.
Roger
Don't call it
start
my bullshit.
planning more than
He's
just
describing the
YouTube
mechanism
videos,
by
like
which
the Facebook
cults
groups, Full
and
Disclosure
conspiracy
Now,
theory
and
groups
document.
operate. He's saying that if you don't go along, you get pushed out. And that is one of the factors that keeps people in these rabbit
Coercion, yeah.
holes. Is the fact that they've lost their normal friends when they got into this stuff. Now they're in it deep. So the only people that they talk to and the only people that accept them, their friend group, their in group, are other wackos. And if they come to some moment of realization and snap back to reality, that group shuns them. So this is what keeps them from speaking out and questioning. This is the same factor that keeps people in domestically violent situations. Domestic violence, cult dynamics, and conspiracy theory in groups all work off the same basic principle of isolation and keeping you invested, whether it's through fear or through discomfort. However, that like the fear of being friendless.
Yeah, absolutely.
Entries and stuff like that.
Oh man, I mean, I think right when I got to meet Corey and the team in Contact in the Desert in June 2017, I think there was a lot of discussions of where we're going to take this and what we're going to do. Because I mean, Above Majestic began filming. We began doing that the next month in July 2017.
movie.
So there were talks of doing documentaries, talks of doing a webinar series, doing all kinds of stuff. You know, I was really only involved in documentary, and I would also go to some of these events and speak or maybe MC them or do some kind of speaking at the events. Those are the only things I was involved in. But I also know they were working on comic books, graphic novels, talks of
I agree,
all
Steph.
kinds of other stuff I really wasn't involved in. You know, in this sort of community with this kind of quote unquote journalism, they're searching for something exciting. They're searching for a good story. So it could be that they're all talking about it. What if, a bunch of hypothetical stuff gets thrown around, and then it's not that Bill Tompkins or even whoever's talking to him is purposely seeding this into his mind or purposely fabricating something to knowingly deceive people. But it could be that, oh, that sounds good. That sounds possible.
He picked up on it.
Then whoever's talking to him says something else that sounds like it could be right from their perspective. And then it just builds. The foundation builds. They build off it like, oh, that could be right. That could be right. That could be right. That sounds legit. And then it becomes kind of a circular reasoning sort of thing where Bill Tompkins hears Corey's story.
Sounds like QAnon,
Wow,
Jordan.
The little details I'm hearing sound like it could be real. And then this person, maybe Corey, wants so bad for his story to be validated. So he points over here to this person. Then it becomes this like circle of echo chamber. Exactly, an echo chamber.
I love this interviewer.
It's confirmed. It's confirmed. It's confirmed. And then there's an issue in so many different areas, not just the UFO community, but so many different areas of our culture, I guess, areas of society where people think good evidence is simply words. Oh, he corroborated his story just because he said that. You can say anything. You can come up with anything, right? Yeah. In legal cases, they do accept testimony, but even in a court of law, you need more. You need something physical, digital, some type of
You don't say, Jordan.
other evidence. It's not just testimony to corroborate and further prove the testimony. And I think in this UFO community,
What about in the
testimony
QAnon
is
community, Jordan?
good enough. It's good enough. Mainstream media can then write hit pieces and go, hey, look at these wacko theories that these people are promoting around. This is what this person's saying. This is what this person's saying. Oh, look, these people think JFK Jr. is alive. Oh, look, these people believe the Earth is flat.
See, he
Ooh,
takes.
et cetera,
he
et cetera,
just
right?
mentioned what you said.
So that
Steph.
kind of just pushes.
These people think JFK Jr. is alive. These people think the Earth's flat. That stuff's too crazy. But what I believe in, not so bad. Fuck Jordan Saban.
them together even closer. No.
It makes society out there continue to laugh at whatever group or cult or crazy belief is going on. And then the people with the crazy beliefs get emboldened because they go, ooh, look, the mainstream media is making fun of us. We must be over the target, right? Confirmation bias, something to that effect. Like, yeah, sometimes if you're attacked, you might be over the target, but not all the time. Sometimes it could be you
And he has to throw in the QAnon slogan over the target.
As an example by the media to then shut down everything, right? It's like the Alex Jones effect.
He doesn't
or the
seem to
flat
like
Earth
Alex
effect.
Jones.
Same basic thing. They attach
Which is
these
interesting.
clickbait illusions
Wonder if it's 'cause
to
Alex
realities
doesn't like
to shut
QAnon
down and
thinks
discredit
Q's
everything. So
wacko.
maybe these people are being attached and these narratives
Yeah,
are
but
being
he's
attached
been back and
to
forth on that, like,
the
you
UFO
know.
movement
Yeah,
shut down,
I'll have to like look a little more into Jordan Sather, like what he like. I'll have to search his Twitter, and Karma like showed me like some different stuff about Jordan that I hadn't known about, and Sassy and poker and different things. But what was I going to say? Just look at like things he said about Alex, like search his Twitter and different YouTube videos and other places that he has his Telegram, because like I was like, he really doesn't like Alex. Like generally most conspiracists like him, but
But they're in competition because
That's
Alex, you know, and so that there is, you know, for as similar as they are, and Alex with his back and forth with, you know, Q is cool, Q isn't, Q is cool, Q isn't, and you know, maybe Sather has had a great awakening that Alex is a simp, he's a gimp, he's a loser, and
could be,
you know,
just like he
who
had this
knows?
awakening about Corey Goode and David Wilcock. Maybe that's just not touching
Yeah,
Alex Jones
and-
anymore.
And also, you know, kind of a boost for Alex was when Bill Cooper died. When the old guard dies, the new guard can kind of spring into being. So, you know, Jordan and all these young modern influencers, they want Alex to fucking die. They wouldn't be here without him, but they
No.
want him gone so that they can take
It's
that
time for the
piece of
old guard to be
pie.
gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's new people in town.
New blood to be
legitimate
spilled.
Yeah, there's a new sheriff.
looking into black projects, because I do legitimately believe that there have been black projects handled by the military industrial complex, government, corporate contractors over the last 50, 60, 70 years. I do believe that they have solved the gravity equation. They've been researching and possibly developed
hurts my
some
brain.
levitating craft, sure, but I don't believe that they've gone to Alpha Centauri. I don't believe there's this grand secret space program alliance that's battleships in orbit and Bluebird people and all that sort of stuff.
From what
The non-secret space program, Jordan.
You know, you could get up
You
to
won't do it.
$4,000 today with a refund advance loan.
You're telling me I could get up to $4,000.
You're just announcing Corey
today.
Goode.
Yeah.
Now can I have a unicorn?
File at H&R Block and you can get a
Need a
refund
unicorn
advance
half
loan up to
this look.
$4,000 within
Maybe
minutes
a
of
frog.
filing.
My life is full of questions.
Give it time. There'll be laws out
How do I
soon
plan
about
on a
hunting
lease name?
unicorns.
Thankfully, I have the answer to almost all of them.
I mean, that's
Why
that's
would
what
you
these
even
chemtrail laws are.
Right?
You're legislating a fantasy.
You can with Tide. Do I need to pre-treat guacamole?
Maybe Trump
No,
will go
Tide.
after
This is
Scotland,
chocolate,
having
right?
a
Let's do this.
Scotland's
Yeah.
national animal.
No matter who's
unicorn.
doing it, on what cycle, or in what temperature, Tide works. So I can focus on all the other questions.
The Geppo stuff
For all
is
of life's
terrifying.
laundry.
I thought
It
he was
is.
talking
It's got
about
to
it.
be Tide.
I think 30,000.
Those cult tactics and behaviors that, you know, maybe Roger and Corey would try
And you
and
just keep telling
post
yourself this can't
onto
happen.
suggestible
but while it's
minds on
happening.
Facebook.
It doesn't seem
and-
real.
And, you know, part of Full Disclosure Now and Sphere Being Alliance and stuff. I hear that there was kind of like an invisible circle of fans that
Mental manipulation tactics for both the inner circle and the fans on the outside. So inner circle, hey, share this, do this.
This
you
is
know,
what they were
you better
doing
be down to
to
ride.
the
If you're
Dark
not, you're not
Alliance
going to
that
be
they
in that
called the
inner
Dark
circle and get
Alliance.
the benefits of
Targeting
going to the
them.
events or
Their
making
enemies.
money or promotion or whatnot. Manipulation of fans on the outside. Corey literally called himself the Enoch of our modern times.
The
and
Enoch of their modern
David claims
times.
to have all these insiders, and they prop themselves up to be these larger than life personalities. And then there's the emotional manipulation. I notice when I listen closely to them that they tell their followers how to perceive certain situations.
Really, Jordan?
they're programming.
Programming, neurolinguistic programming. Yeah. And money. Hey, donate to me. Buy this. Buy this.
Buy
exorbitant prices
MMS
for
drops?
certain stuff too, like $333 for somebody to sit and
God,
watch a few
let's
hours of stuff on the
consider
computer. Is crazy.
Hold on.
the fact that
Cult
they're-
like, because it is kind of like a cult.
He's insufferable.
And let's also consider the fact that he's now selling it as drops.
I
Now,
know. Isn't
might-
that interesting?
Well, there's something to look at with that. The woo community loves tinctures. They
true.
love tinctures. If you can put some, and you have the Datura, that's a fucking
Oh, yeah.
multi-level marketing with the fucking essential oils and shit.
I have
like
friends that tried to sell me that shit.
People love things that are in little glass bottles that are droppers. And there's probably a legal thing for that too, in that it's easier to control the dosage with the droppers.
Yep, instead of chugging.
And it also looks more legitimate when something's in a little glass bottle like that.
Alex sells drops too now, a lot of drops.
Yeah, because it looks and it's probably inexpensive to make. Like that.
Yep. That's very interesting you put it that way. It's very much more into the new age because the MMS bottles look absurd. They look like I can't think of the name of the stuff right now. You mix it together. It's kind of used on, they use it on Forged in Fire for the knife handles when they do the blades to like seal it together. Can't think of that. It's a bonding thing. I can't, but that's what it looks like.
Epoxy?
Yeah, it looks like epoxy, but in bigger bottles, like the two that you have to mix together. That's what it looks like, but in bigger form. Like,
right. And you, for marketing, you want,
it's not attractive.
Right. You want an attractive item, and you want an item that people will subconsciously associate with safe things. You know?
Exactly. Stone Deaf.
It's just amazing what pieces of shit these people are.
Really are.
Cult tactics, cult-like behaviors that are going on around that group. And some of us were sucked into
you
it.
poor sweet
Since it's
summer
so
child.
emotionally manipulative, it's very difficult to question it. And then people get sucked in. Sometimes I think of it as like a digital
I love that he's
Stockholm
zooming in on his
syndrome.
bracelets
You get let down.
that are woo
and then
bracelets.
You go back for more. You go back to your, leader or your mental
fuck yourself,
captor
Jordan. Say
for
that
more.
you're
What's
a
the next
human
claim?
shit.
I feel bad about the last thing falling through, so I need the next hit of half-truth dopamine. What's the next hit? Oh, claim. Oh, this gets me excited,
What's the next
right?
cue drop
And
coming
then that
out?
falls through. And
Grow a
you go
dick,
back for more,
Jordan,
back for more.
and
Right?
grow a soul.
It's just like a vicious circle for followers.
Vicious circle for followers, absolutely. Oh, Corey says that solar flash is going to happen. Oh, it doesn't happen. Let's go back for more. Sometimes I also describe it as hopium because it is kind of like you're addicted to a drug. Coming back to these people for narratives, for the emotion, the fake emotion they inject into you, for the inside intel as to what's
he has
really
no
going on
insight
behind
into
the
what
scenes.
he's fucking doing.
The excitement, literally. I mean, a lot of people are bored. They want to be excited. It's almost even more exciting than a Hollywood movie because they believe it's real. Not just what if, but this is. Since they truly believe it's real and they're in a state of fear. You asked me earlier, is it based on fear? It's
So
absolutely
you're
based
feeding
on
your
fear.
followers fear.
Even if they think it's positive, they're telling themselves that, oh, I'm listening to this so-called whistleblower or this online personality.
Q.
And I'm going to tell myself it's positive. Their words seem positive superficially. Oh, it's hopeful. It's making me happy. It's giving me hope, giving me faith. But deep down, the reason why they're addicted to said narratives or said personality is because they're scared. It's because they're fearful.
He is telling
They don't
on
know how to
himself,
control that.
Spence.
They're scared about the state of the world. They're scared about what they're learning about reality. They're scared about whatever it may be.
The unknowns.
The unknowns, correct. They can't sit in a space of comfort with the unknowns. So they're insecure. They're uncomfortable.
This is
so they
like
go
OJ's
to
book.
whatever personality, listen to their narratives, and it injects them with a false sense of hope or hopium, like a false love.
And I love the interviewer
like,
because he just lets him keep
We'll
talking.
ascend together. Like, I care about
Like,
you.
he just
Mm-hmm.
keeps giving him the
gonna
rope.
Bring you along with me, kind of like a father figure or like a loving, caring friend.
Right. But deep down, it's kind of like a mentally abusive
Yes.
figure.
You don't
We're going to do
say,
this together.
Jordan.
You need to follow me. Buy this. Buy this. Oh, that thing fell through. We're not. It's
I feel you,
negative. It's
Steph.
negative to criticize. It's negative to look at it that way. You need to look at this situation this way. And you need to think this
The
about
harm
this. And you need
this
to.
squirrely little fucker has done.
Constantly like
And
spinning,
every other person like him.
spinning the narrative.
Yeah.
So that it's not like taking ownership for the failures of predictions, but putting it back on the follower.
Right.
Beautifully
And
done,
their perception
interviewer.
being wrong. Crazy.
Crazy.
Dude, thank you so much.
Absolutely, man.
Excellent talk.
A lot of that was cathartic to get off my
was it
chest. And I
cathartic,
appreciate
Jordan?
you for letting me
Fuck
do
you.
that.
He has no insight at all.
And so we conclude this inaugural series of Dark Alliance. It is worth noting it has been a bumpy road to this point. It began with citizen journalists in 2015 sounding the alarm at the extreme aspects of the SSP story. It morphed into a movement against Corey and his acolytes. My own involvement in this saga is a long tale. Perhaps I will tell it one day, but the short version is this. I was an online member of the Corey Goode movement. I was attacked on an Edge of Wonder episode, and in 2020 I began working on a documentary about this saga.
Today I started writing the production document for the Dark Alliance documentary.
Whatever you're watching now started here. There was also a funny incident where I may have accidentally given Corey the idea to say that he channeled the information in 2019. Oops. In June 2021, at the UFO Megacon, Darcy Weir would opine on the state of the SSP story and the avian narrative, warning others not to take it seriously, and a year later he would interview SSP LARPers Tony Rodriguez and Chris O'Connor about their own alleged experiences. That's where our paths crossed, and in April 2023 we traveled the United States to get some of these people on the record. That's what you just watched. It is important to note that much of this reporting, much of the story you were just told, was only possible lineage. People such as Stephen Cambion, Joe from the Carolinas, Andrew Kay, and the enigmatic Light Warrior. Those no longer with us, such as Joey Jiggy Webb and James Harrison, whose tireless pursuit of the SSP world led to the creation of this series. The dangers of spreading these narratives are not only limited to that small slice of the UFO movement. Previous years have shown us the enormous appetite from the American populace, and in many cases the world, for unproven fantasy narratives built upon a kernel of truth. Because as a wise man once said, all great misinformation starts with a good fact.
True story.
What started as a man posting on an internet forum spawned an entire cottage industry of word salad that ultimately all leads back to the same source. An entire world was built upon the small house in the rock that Corey built. And as you exit through the gift shop, it is important to ask some questions of yourself or the institutions propping these stories up. Question 1. If Corey had not conspired with his manager Roger to take down the Gaia stock price, would Gaia have continued to profit off of the show despite efforts from Corey to trademark common use terms? Question 2. Would David's career have remained strong with the respect of his peers had he not decided to work with Corey?
Yes.
Question 3. If, as testimony has shown, Gaia does not vet their sources of information, how long before something like this happens again? And question 4.
Spence.
We started out this series of Dark Alliance with the story of George Van Tassel, who warned against the dangers of commercializing contact narratives for fear it would lead away from a spiritually based organization. The final question is this. Given everything you've just seen in this series, is Corey exactly what Van Tassel warned against?
Yup.
It was very good that they presented it as that. It's very interesting that they closed it with questions.
There we go.
Okay, sorry. Is it paused?
It is now. Hold on, I'm coming. I put up that video that you shared.
Oh, it's very. I like that they finished it with questions because most conspiracy theorists will hide their conspiracy theories as just asking questions. like the Holocaust deniers have this list of like 60 some questions that have failed to be answered. The 9/11 truthers have it. All these questions, all these questions, all these questions. The fact that they were doing a documentary against conspiracy theories, and they finished it by asking questions, that they knew what they were doing, and that was very interesting. And they ended it with it. They didn't start it with that, because that would give the viewer too much time to think.
Exactly.
They ended it with that. Boom. They're using the techniques that the conspiracy theorists use to pill you to try to unpill you. And
Exactly.
that is, I think that is the best method to push back. Is you, like Jordan Sather's published it on his Telegram channel and stuff. It's like the guide to red pilling. Take that shit and work backwards.
Yeah.
And that, you know, but unfortunately, it's easier to break a leg than it is to heal one. And getting out is not as easy as it is getting in. And, but
don't
you
I know it?
The fact
From
that they
my
ended
loved
with the
one.
questions, that's how conspiracy theories begin, but that's how they end.
Yeah.
With questions.
I just think it
And
was
that-
really well done, because that guy,
Yes.
as we know, he does believe in like the UFOs and different, you know, things, but from a more 1 foot in reality, where it's kind of the fun kind of area of it. And he doesn't push, you know, these wild conspiracies or anything. It's kind of like, okay, there are these Tic Tacs, there are these UFOs, there are some unexplained phenomenon, but there are some really bad people in this world that we've all been trying to enjoy, that have infiltrated and just taken over with these secret space programs and, you know, all of this other stuff that has just come in, and blue avians, and think of any theory that's that has invaded from back, you know, you can see a sense of the heyday, like when they talk about Van Tassel. I think that's kind of the throwback that they're yearning for, you know, a simpler time in conspiracies and UFO world.
They miss the earnestness, like John Keel there, that he made obviously a lot of errors in his reporting, but I think, and someone correct me if I'm wrong on this, but there was an earnestness to his reporting. Yeah, he did kind of have like a preconceived notion that it was all paranormal shit, but he really enjoyed the collection of these stories and the studying of them. You don't, you see but you also see how kind of fringe a lot of his shit was, that you know, but there was an earnestness to him that I sense. And then you have someone who's a little more contemporary, like David Paulides.
Yeah.
You know, and he has that you know, law enforcement background, but he was fired from, like, apparently local guy. He was fired from the San Jose Police Department for like something like using his position to forge autographs. He did some shady shit, and then, you know, he cherry picked only the weirdest stories. There's a great YouTube channel where he takes the missing 411 cases, and he'll actually go to these locations with a tripod and film himself walking these same trails. And he'll be like, yeah, this is what Paulides won't tell you, is that there's a sharp drop off that this person could have fell off right in this
Shame
location.
he did something bad.
Oh, God, what was the name? But it's like, you know, I think Paulides just saw money in it. Whereas I think like, and Keel was also of a different era, like the classic era, where
I think there's a yearning within the UFO community and that kind of community to go back to that era, not where everything is now, where it's kind of been quote unquote polluted. And I think that's where this documentary was kind of coming from, the people, you know, who did it.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. I can deal with that kind of non-reality based stuff. I'm fine with that. And, you know, there are some unexplained phenomena that I can't explain. I'm fine with that. it's the like where we are today and stuff. Like I can't deal with this.
So that's what all these chuckle fucks are doing. They're just having a psychic battle. That's what I think of when I hear these people argue. I just think of that scene.
That's so
funny. And Spence, right. The Nice Core Project is an excellent resource. They itemize all of the Holocaust denier quote unquote questions, and then they have the refutation. And it's I read over that list before I exposed myself to Jim Fetzer's chapter on Holocaust denial.
That is so important to do.
Yes, and even if it's something that you say, oh, I would never fall for Holocaust now, even if it's something that you know you would never ever believe, it is important to always pre-bunk before you dive into these things, because that shit seeps in subconsciously without you even knowing it.
Yeah, it does. I'm going to run to the restroom, and then I'm
Me
going to send my
too.
other chat to let them know that Solomon Berg is coming up, because they were very excited for that.
Oh, and I have that link of the list of episodes if you want to share that.
Yes, I will share that too. And then, like I said, I found the very lost episodes. So we actually get to see Carrie and Solomon on screen, which I think he's adorable.
Cool.
Like, I think he's just the cutest guy ever. Oh, let me play this. Jeez, I am.
Okay, well, we've got to leave the line because you didn't turn off your radio. People turn me off all the time, but I'm still here. Turn your radio off, please. First time caller line, you're on the air.
So we're back where we began.
Oh, you called already, didn't you?
Yes.
You're right. You're off. You're out of here. Goodbye. And that's the way to get that done.
Okay, I just have to make sure this is the first Squatch interview here. Because I have all three. Where's my chat all messed up? Oh. All right, Squatch time. I love me some Squatch. Okay. Insurgent. I love how serious she takes this. Like, she's so into a guy who has met Squatch. Military captured Squatch. Look at his outfit.
Hi, everyone.
He
I'm
made
Carrie
it camo.
Cassidy from Project Camelot, and
He's
I'm
so
here
hot.
with Major.
He is cute.
And we're going to be doing what might be considered
It
a
is considered
interview
groundbreaking,
about his dealings with an off-world race.
Just how
that
he
is
didn't manage
comprised
to
of
break
what we
character.
know
Like,
I would have
of
died.
He's fighting.
in some cases,
Look at him. He's fighting back,
Sasquatch, in
smiling.
some
I
cases,
know.
Yetis,
His
and
eyes are
they go by some
smiling.
other names out there as well.
I would lose it.
Apparently, Major Berg is saying that they actually prefer the word Squatch, or I guess Yeti is okay, and we can get into that in more detail. So,
Wait.
Major Berg, do you want to explain?
Yes, Mina, he is faking. This was like Knowledge Fight comes across this episode. Dan and Jordan, they cover Alex Jones. So they were covering a bunch of like Carrie Cassidy episodes, and they came across this episode. And at one point, he's going to mention something that makes him suspicious that he's a Knowledge Fight fan. So then he comes back and they listen to the second episode and they're like, yeah, okay, he definitely is.
It was when he said Emmerich.
Yeah,
Emmerich
he mentions,
it was what did it.
Yeah. So eventually on Knowledge Fight, they actually have these guys on and interview them. So that's why we're reviewing these. It is so funny. So I've never watched like these fully through to see like how he fools Carrie Cassidy. But
I just heard the clips on Knowledge Fight.
I've never watched him the
looking
full
at
way.
him now. Looking at him, my dad, I remember my dad had this old driver's license that I always used to look at, and it always used to crack me up because he's not smiling, but his eyes are smiling. Like you can see in this video that he is like, and his body stance, like, do you see how tense he is? He's like isometrically, like that's how I like keep the pain in when I get pierced or tattooed.
He's
Is like
trying not to
isometrics.
laugh.
Yeah, he's holding in a giant fart that is a laugh.
What is the best about this? I had to search for these everywhere, and I finally found them on YouTube. Carrie Cassidy has not taken these down or written that she was taken. She has these behind a paywall because she thinks they're so valuable.
And like he said that like when the Knowledge Fight guys interviewed him, didn't he say something like, "Oh yeah, she knows I took her for a ride, but she doesn't care" or something? Didn't he? Say that?
I think he says like because on the third one, I think he pretends he's dying and got some disease because he got bit by a reptile. It's so, I can't.
Who you are and how you decided to come forward and contact me. And you are I guess a doctor of anthropology and also a major. Are you a major in the United States Army or a Navy or
I'm dying
a major
already.
in
I can't.
in where you're located, or can you explain that as well?
I have maintained the title major despite my current, what you could call outlaw status. My last posting was with the United States Marine Corps as part of a group called Project Black Kraken, which, as I mentioned to you on our previous phone call,
he's losing it.
I'm dying. Military think tank.
You can
really,
see
our,
how hard
our goal
he's
was
fighting.
to push the boundaries of science.
I love you, Solomon.
We did a lot of what
too.
I guess in the conventional world you could call paranormal research. I initially was recruited into this program in my senior year of high school. I was planning on enlisting anyway. I was going to do ROTC. I was contacted by an individual that I have known throughout the years only as Owl. And Owl informed me that due to my test scores, I had been sort of investigated by a higher cabal of leaders within the military who were looking to recruit talent. So I was educated, was put through college and graduate school at the same time as I was rising through the ranks of the Marine Corps. I was never in active combat deployment technically, although I was present as a cultural liaison during what became known as the Stargate incidents in Baghdad in 2007 and Kabul in 2008. And sometime after that, I returned to the States, and I was doing civilian work, really, at that time, research. I was informed about a Mars program, and I spent a year in the Mars program, and then came back to Earth and did more research. Again, you know, I do have a civilian identity, or I did have a civilian identity. I was working out of Temple University, and I did some very interesting research in the area of human-animal communication. And it was that research that got the attention
She hasn't asked one fucking question.
My colonel, Lionel Sperlinghetti. He reached back out to me and asked if I could rejoin Project Black Kraken
Lionel
because
Sperlinghetti.
They had captured an entity in the Pacific Northwest outside of Seattle. This is the being that I have referred to as Squatch. Squatch do you want me to clarify the term squatch?
Yes.
So squatch is a human approximation of a noise
losing
that these creatures make when they're very young.
I would love
And-
for him to make the noise like squatch.
Swat! Swat! Oh, I just made the cat jump. She just jumped and looked at me accusingly.
Don't scare Squeaks.
Squeaks and Squatch, huh?
They don't have human individual names like we do. They have sort of a title
What a story
system.
he made.
So you earn your title in their society. And before they earn their title, the young ones are just called squatch. So it's the collective term, but it also is sort of a term for like the cohort. It indicates someone who has not yet taken a title. So for example, one of the elders of this species that I have never had any direct contact with, but which I know of through the Overmind connection that we talked about, which I can explain further, is the Wizard of Washington. So this is a very, very old male squatch who his hair is completely gray. He's been a recluse for hundreds of years. These are very long-lived creatures. They have an adolescence lasting about 200 years.
Like, whoa,
their
whoa,
adulthood
stop.
could be as much as a millennia. So
Okay.
the military had, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Before we kind of go into those details, I'm trying to paint the picture and give a setting to this because so people don't get kind of confused. So at a certain point, the military brought you in because you have some unique abilities. Can you explain what those abilities are?
Yes. So I am a kind of sensitive. I have developed a particular mode of telepathic communication, which is effective between human beings and other placental mammals that have a brain structure called a corpus callosum. So tech permits rat blossom also had telepathic organelles within the nucleus of its cells. And by stimulating any sort of evolutionary parallel or analog of a placental mammal, being a creature with a corpus callosum, I was able to communicate with Squatch on a very intuitive and emotional level. The overmind I referred to before was
Overmind.
something I
The stuff
discovered
he comes up
early
with.
in my communications with Squatch. The overmind is a kind of collective consciousness.
Oh my gosh. Beautiful.
And it is it's not a hive mind. They retain their individuality, but there is a sort of communal web of belonging, I would describe it as. It's very comforting and different from what most human world.
When you into this, were you already writing papers and had become an anthropologist, at that
Yes.
point? Okay, so you become known as someone
Not a
who,
squatch.
were you advocating some
squeaks
form
bum.
of communication with, was it the Yeti or Squatch, as you call them, or was
Well,
it?
prior to being informed about Squatch, when I was primarily working as a civilian, with military funding, and still maintaining my connections to Project Black Kraken, but I was doing this out of Temple University.
At Temple University.
I tried to publish papers about the telepathic communication I was able to achieve.
He did go to Temple.
And I believe I used the word laughing stock with
Is this
you.
how
And
you were like blowing his cover?
No, I blew his cover just because, like, especially when he was saying placental mammals and talking about the cortex and brain and like language centers and stuff, that it in the episode where the Knowledge Fight guys interviewed him and he revealed all the secrets of like how he fooled Carrie not hard. He mentions that he's like, yeah, someone in the Knowledge Fight subreddit was posting how convinced they were that I really was an anthropologist. I don't know if someone else was posting in there, but I was, so that might have been me that he was referring to. But he's like whoever that person was, they pegged me. He's like, yeah, I know. It was probably me he was talking about. But
You blew
yeah, I
him
did
in
peg
Al's
him
cover.
because I like to joke with people that I have a boner for anthropology. But it is, you take just a few classes, whether it's on evolution or archaeology or just general anthropology, and you're like, yeah, this is how these fuckers talk. Like, I mean, yeah, I was just like, yeah, dude definitely knows his anthro. And it just gave me like this big, like, brain boner, just like, oh God, it's so cool.
Yeah.
Like, it's just really neat.
Yeah, Temple is in Philadelphia, is it not? I thought so.
And it's in a very, very bad area of
I
Philadelphia.
thought so too. Oh my gosh. This just kills me. Like, I like hearing the whole thing, like the Knowledge Fight guys kill me. But hearing him actually do it and seeing his face is just, oh my gosh, it's perfection. And seeing how like she's just like, wow, like mind blown. Like she is just buying it hook, line, and sinker.
our phone call.
And
So
because
they had another name for it.
because this shit makes her money.
Yeah. But I'm still torn between her believing and grifting, because I've really seen her, and like I've been watching more recently, and she's like really pretty pissed off at Wano Saban right now because he's not disclosing the way he, like, I think she's generally hurt that he's not putting out the information like he was and disclosing, and like there's some feelings there and like shows she's going on. So I don't know, it's almost like I would put her at like an 80-20 for belief and grifting. Like honestly, like at this point, having watched so much of her stuff, like I don't know.
And it
For me.
and whether
Doctor-
she really does believe it or not, it's
Christina.
She knows how to cash in because
you guys are squatching
the-
during a plane crash.
George Bush did that plane crash. We already figured that out.
We did cover the plane crash before we squatched. We did watch.
You
live
think there are planes? Please.
Silly goose, Christina.
That was all CGI.
Doolittle.
Sure.
So it was, we're talking about, I'm trying to get good research published, but because of the subject matter, none of my peers who are responsible for the peer review are willing to take it seriously. So I couldn't get it published. But that was annoying, but it wasn't that big a deal because I already was involved in Project Black Kraken. I already knew more than conventional scholars knew. I had a lot of unconventional views, especially about human evolution and about extraterrestrial intervention in human evolution, about ancient contact with extraterrestrial civilizations and intergalactic cosmic events that have affected Earth for at least millennia, if not millions of years. So I was already in that world. So
Does he have like a badge on or something?
I do get some amount of validation from that I couldn't get from my academic peers.
Okay, so you were already sort of in the military at that point. You were already.
Yes. I've been in the military the whole time. I've been in the military since I was 18 years old.
Okay. Now
I went to boot camp like every other Marine.
Okay. Now you went to Mars before you got involved in the whole sort of off-planet races aspect, at least as far as the Squatch go.
Yes.
So I know my audience would be particularly interested in that. So if we can just start off with that and kind of get that out of the way so that we can delve a bit more into your current situation.
So, yeah.
Go ahead. If you can describe how you got to go to Mars and what
Carrie,
you
what's
did
that
there.
Mars?
And so
Injected into her veins.
This goes back to 2010s. This was after my service as a liaison in the Middle East. So I returned to the States and I was contacted again by Owl. And Owl said he had a position that was off-world that might interest me. Now, I had already... So when I was 18 and I was inducted into Black Kraken, they had showed me the Roswell footage. So I was aware
showed him the Roswell footage.
Who the Greys were. Well, I did to an extent. I knew about Greys. I wouldn't say I knew everything about them. But I had a basic outline, I suppose, in my head about the extent of the U.S. government and military's involvement with extraterrestrial factions. And it was during my service in the Middle East that I learned that the Greys were essentially mercenaries. And
Carrie's
that
Carrie's
kind
like,
of blew
yeah,
my mind,
yeah, those Greys
because
are
if they were
mercenaries.
mercenaries, then who were they mercenaries for? So I encountered them during the Stargate incidents. I was later briefed and told about two factions, two interstellar factions, the Guardian Alliance and the Luciferian Alliance. And I believe that the Luciferian Alliance centers around the Draco Empire.
Luciferians again.
And the Guardian Alliance centers around the Palladian Empire. So I wanted to, when Owl contacted me, he was kind of reminding me that we had a grander duty,
QAnon
in the
phrases
universe.
and terms because he knows.
And
go ahead.
Before
he's dropping a lot of like QAnon type references and stuff like that because he knows that's what's going to hold her attention.
Oh, he's
he knows the audience that he's speaking to. That's why he did this social experiment in the first place.
He's so I can't imagine writing a script like this if he has acting in his background or whatever. I honestly can't imagine. I wouldn't be able to. I'm dying here listening to it. Just to be able to put this on the entire time. There's no way. No way.
I and my husband tells me about stories there's a Mexican QAnon guy. Try and figure that one out. Who's down with deportations. And my husband's the way that my husband recollects and recreates their conversations for me when he gets home. It's I could never oh, really? So 30,000 people have already been arrested at Gitmo. Wow, that I could not fake it like that. I just, not because I can't act, but because it's just so
out there,
horrible, and it just like the day I could. It would be so hard for me to pretend. And I've actually been practicing because we've been talking about taking a trip to Mount Shasta just for fun.
Oh.
So I've been trying to kind of practice every once in a while, like, oh, really? There are UFOs in the mountains. Wow. I don't know. Does that sound genuine? I don't know. I'm trying to get better at it. I'm trying
Not
to get
yet.
better.
You better keep practicing stuff because that did not sound genuine. No. Not
They
yet. You're
earn
not
their
there.
title. The young ones are just called Squatch.
Oh, wait. I accidentally
So
went
it's
back
the
on it.
collective term, but it also is sort of they retain their individuality, but there is
We
this
were here.
Master Sergeant
Oh, wait. Too far.
Daniel Jordan, my service as a liaison in the Middle East. So I returned to the States, and I was contacted again by Owl, and Owl said he had a position that was off-world that might interest me. Now, I had already, so when I was 18 and I was inducted into Black Kraken, they had showed me the Roswell footage. So I was aware of who the Greys were. Well, I did to an extent. I knew about Greys. I wouldn't say I knew everything about them. But I had a basic outline, I suppose, in my head about the extent of the U.S. government and military's involvement with extraterrestrial factions. And it was during that I learned that the Greys were essentially mercenaries.
Did you see the smile on her face for that one?
Kind of blew my mind, because if they were mercenaries, then who were they mercenaries for? So I encountered them during the Stargate incidents. I was later briefed and told about two factions, two interstellar factions, the Guardian Alliance and the Luciferian Alliance. I believe that the Luciferian Alliance centers around the Draco Empire. And the Guardian Alliance centers around the Palladian Empire. So
Does everybody got that? Just jot that down in notes.
You know, when Owl contacted me, he was kind of reminding me that we had a grander duty, you know, in the universe, you know, as a planet that is affected by this ongoing struggle between lightness and darkness. So I took the position. I traveled on board one of Black Kraken's ships to Mars. This was in 2010.
Okay.
In the region called Cydonia. Cydonia is famous as the site of the face on Mars. Now, there is an archaeological dig site near the face. It is the site of an ancient battle. And it was at that grid that I studied artifacts. Now, my research assistant was with me at that time. His name is Daniel Jordan. He's a
Master Sergeant Daniel Jordan.
Daniel Jordan. And Master Sergeant Daniel Jordan and I combed the area for debris which had been left by ancient Martian soldiers. Now, Carrie, when I say Martian soldier, I'm not indicating Martian as a species. We are talking about Martian nationals. This was in an ancient epoch where Mars was a very cosmopolitan, multicultural world. And so many of the Martian soldiers I'm referring to were, in fact, human beings. They were transplants from ancient Earth, which was at that time ruled by kingdoms like Atlantis. And of course, there were more primitive human groups that the Atlanteans
I wonder if he keeps checking
sort
his
of had
notes when he
dominion
sits up,
over
like
and
if he
watched
has
over
a
and protected
teleprompter or
and would
something.
also conscript from. So the thing you need to understand about archaeology is that when you're doing archaeology, you're usually looking at things people threw away. You're going through latrines, dig sites, dump sites, refuse sites. So we were looking at basically soldiers' trash.
Soldiers' trash.
There was one artifact I was able to smuggle home.
I want to see his face for this.
It was a stone pipe that appears to have been carved by a teenage human conscript in the army of Mars, used to smoke a Martian psychoactive herb and then discarded out the back of a tent before the senior officer could catch him. So that's the kind of artifacts I was looking at.
He's losing it.
I suppose what you would imagine is like ancient power generators or sentient computers, and none of that lasted. It was just the bare basics.
Okay, now when you make a description like that, where you say he was a conscript, he threw it out the tent, how can you know this? Were you working with remote viewers? Are you yourself seeing it as a remote viewer? How did you tap
How can
into
you
that?
know this?
We
What's
did work
your
with remote
evidence?
viewing on
And then
Mars.
her
That was
suggestion
part
of
our
evidence is
contingent.
remote viewing.
So they were able to get visual impressions. We analyzed the substance, the residue that was found in the pipe. Daniel Jordan actually smoked some of it. He wrote a report based on that.
Now, is he aware that
I can't.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I was eating a Snickers so that I didn't, get out of control. But the way she just nods along, like, checks out smoking. And then I said, Mothman, Mothy McMothman's here.
He says hello, and
You're
also
going
he's
public.
not real.
Daniel Jordan, yes, he's my subordinate.
understand? So you're still you're still working with him, is what you're saying?
He's still part of Project Black Kraken. What happened was, fast forward 2018, when the issue with the Sasquatch, the Squatch came up. I'm still trying to break the habit of saying Sasquatch. That's when Project Black Kraken went rogue.
What do you mean?
I'm here in Israel with my team.
Okay, I think now we've kind of made a big jump. So I just want to be clear to everyone, because we haven't quite explained that. So you've got this project, you're working on Mars, you've got someone working with you, you found artifacts, you were there for less than a year, you said.
11 months.
What?
11 months.
Okay, and can you describe, because everyone wants to know this sort of thing, did you see other beings, other types of races of beings? Were you sequestered in a certain area, and did you have breathable air in that particular area of Cydonia? Maybe we could just run through that quickly before we jump to your earthly situation.
So Mars has a variable climate. So there are parts of Mars that are habitable, that people can more or less be comfortable in. And there are parts of Mars where you would have to use gear to survive. So Cydonia was in one of the more temperate regions. So I was often working without a spacesuit, but I did have to use like a breathing filter. I did have some gear, but I was unencumbered by like anything really bulky, which made the digging easier. There is plant life. It's sparse. Mars definitely doesn't have the biodiversity of Earth, but there is life there. Certainly less life than there used to be.
Okay, and are you aware of how the surface of Mars ended up the way it is?
Millennia of war.
Millennia of war.
You know, we can't isolate one particular causal factor, but from deciphering glyphs and ancient texts, we have been able to glean some details. We know that there was a prominent human faction on Mars that was under the leadership of an individual named Chrysalix.
Chrysalix.
Now, Chrysalix was a half human, half Anunnaki hybrid. Chrysalix ascended to the top leadership position of ancient Mars, and he stoked resentment between
It's my favorite
two
DJ.
other non-human species, both of which claimed to be indigenous to Mars, but probably neither of them are. But they've both been there longer than humans.
Okay, and what species are those?
So there is an insectoid species called the trogs. But when I say insectoid, I'm not talking about something like the mantids. I'm talking about, these are sort of, they were an experiment, I believe. They're not a natural species. Imagine a deformed human, almost like a caveman, and then the other side of their body is insect-like.
Whoa.
So they would actually like have one human eye and one compound eye. Well, more than one compound eye, but one large compound eye, and antennae and feelers on one side of the head, a modified limb.
Sounds like Jeff Goldblum
so
turning into the Fly.
They were almost like half human, half insect. And that was the trogs. They are tunnel dwellers. There was also a reptilian species on Mars that could loosely be called a Draco subspecies.
I don't know why, Spence.
Think about, the Dracos have certain imperatives about genetic purity. These would be the cast-off Dracos.
Okay, so
Chrysalix's title was the Supreme Technocrat.
all right. There's so much we can go into with regard to Mars. Because when I spoke to you before, you said you did know Randy Kramer, and you are a Marine. He is a Marine. And you said he was something of a hero. Did you say that?
Yes. Now, I don't know him personally. We've been at the same events. He's a bit older than me. So we didn't serve on Mars at the same time. And obviously he was in combat and I was a non-combat officer. I was a support officer.
Okay. And he was in battles. Was he in battles with, to your understanding, with the reptoids and the insectoids?
Yes, the trogs.
Trogs, yeah.
I call them the Martian reptoids, just to distinguish them from the ones we're familiar with.
All right, so the Martian reptoids and the trogs.
Martian reptoids and
two
trogs.
different species.
Yes.
But when you were there, did you actually see these species?
I did see them, but that was after I had already seen the artifacts. They prefer to expose you in stages. So like first I saw the Roswell footage, and then I was told that there were other extraterrestrial species besides just the familiar grays.
They show you in stages.
So this was, as I was ascending through the military hierarchy, and as I was being educated and groomed to be a military scientist, I was increasingly made aware of these things and permitted to see more. But I was always kept on something of a short leash on Mars. There were times when I was transported places where my expertise was needed and I was blindfolded.
Okay.
That's good, because she can't ask you everything if you say you're
informed
blindfolded.
as to why the secrecy? Because when you came back after that. time on Mars. What were you told? Why were you told? It had to be above top secret. Did they explain that?
You mean why the general public couldn't be made aware of our programs on Mars?
Yes.
Well, they gave me an explanation, but it wasn't a satisfying explanation. It was, national security, all the same old.
Same old, Carrie.
I've been in the room where the sausage is made, so I did what I'm supposed to do, which is accept the explanation, not question it. But obviously, I buy it? No. I knew that there were less earthbound reasons for the secrecy.
Okay. Now, how did you? Some people will want to know this. How did you get to Mars?
I went on one of Black Kraken's ships.
Black Kraken.
So
did it go interdimensional?
Well, that's not how I would describe how its FTL drive works. The ships that Black Kraken uses are Black Kraken ships. They're not identical to like the Orion class vessels of Solar Warden or Radiant Guardian.
He looked his
They're
shit up.
smaller. They're sort of designed as armored troop transports. So this is a smaller ship that uses a fusion pulse drive for sublight maneuvering. And are you familiar with fusion pulse drive technology?
Well, only by name. I'm not. I don't have a scientist's understanding of what that really is.
So this is essentially where you throw nuclear bombs out the back of your ship in order to generate a
This sounds very dangerous.
propulsive force. So your fuel is nuclear bombs, warheads. But these ships do have an
And
FTL
I
drive.
wanted to point out
is based on
when he's like, have you heard of these nuclear fusion? It sounds like something that could be real in the real world or in the conspiracy world. And Carrie's reaction is very telling, and it's very reminiscent of Alex.
Because she can't admit that she doesn't know what it is.
Right,
So she's
right.
like, well, I have general.
Yeah, why? Well, I know what it is, but why don't you explain for the audience? It's like that classic like improv technique, and that is that's a lot, and I think that is part of the connection as to why so many conspiracy theorists were like failed comedians or failed actors, or they tried getting into that field, because conspiracy theories require creativity, imagination, and improvisation.
That's interesting. There's one lady I watch, which I'm not going to say too much about her because I don't want to blow up or spot her on anything on this, but she's a fellow comedian, and then she ends up in a relationship with Stephen D. Kelly for 6 years, and she gets out of that. And she has a conspiracy show and stuff like that. And she kind of goes against Carrie Cassidy, but I think she's trying to get out of that world. And she kind of still has one foot in the conspiracy world, but out of it. And I hope she keeps coming out of it. But I've watched some of her videos, and I'm hopeful for her when I look at her stuff and watch her videos, because I do enjoy them. But she was kind of a failed comedian, but she's coming out of it and is in that comedic world. So it's interesting that you touched on that.
If you feel like, because you know more about her than I do, but if you feel like reaching out to her and asking her to reach out.
Yeah, I have hope for her. Like I watch a lot of her stuff, so I've been keeping an eye on her stuff.
If you do end up like in a conversation with her, send her my way. I'll be more than happy to talk with her, and I'm not going to try and talk her out of it. I just want to hear her experiences.
But I think she's really in. She seems very like in that reality base right now, where she could tip either way. You know what I mean? Like, because there's a lot of conspiracy people attacking her right now, and
when she needs people like us the most.
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on her. So, well, you know how I am.
Yes.
Of course, I see somebody and I'm like,
I'm far more lazier than she is. So just so everyone knows that.
Scalar loop formations. It's a kind of scalar wave generator that approximates the effects of a localized wormhole.
And he's
Okay.
hitting every conspiracy hot
Oh, he
button.
is.
It's
So
bingo.
good.
in shorthand. Okay, fair enough. So were you there with, you say you had one person at least under you, were you there with a whole team of people that were actually, you know, part of your team kind of thing? And can you say how many in your team?
It varied because, you know, we weren't there as one. We were on different service contracts. So I was there for a tour. Master Sergeant Daniel Jordan was there at the same time as I was, and we were pretty consistent. We were bunkmates. And during that time, people were rotated on and off base. There might have been periods where they were sent to another base, another compound. There are multiple Mars bases, obviously, and multiple colonies. Not all of them are under human jurisdiction, and not all of them are under U.S. jurisdiction. I'm well aware of a thriving German community on Mars, but I did not have much interaction with that German.
I'll look into that for next time,
Community.
Steph.
Okay, now
I bookmarked it.
Of the interview, so we weren't here all night, but obviously would love to have you back to get into more detail because I know a lot of people would like to know. So if that's going to be possible, that would be great. But at this point, I'd like to turn to what your skill set was, how it got discovered after your battle.
Of course not.
In Mars. Again, was it based, did you come back to Earth? What did you do to draw attention to yourself in a certain way? Why did they assign you to this Squatch individual that they captured?
Well, when the journals refused to publish my work, I sent my findings to Black Kraken.
I sent my findings to Blake.
I got a visit from Owl. Owl always seems to know how to find me.
Oh my God. I love
you know, whenever
Can
there's been
hold on.
a time when Black Kraken.
Knowledge Fight did not prepare me for how much Owl content there was. Like they only had that one short segment where they were like, which they can only pull so many clips. They only showed that one where he's like, and Al recruited me in high school. Al plays a very big part in this. I think, how much have we watched? This is an hour and 49 minutes. I think maybe we can do, because we have so much Solomon Berg content, just because I think maybe 12:30, and then we'll save whatever we have until the next time, just because I'm a sleepy baby.
Kraken or some other arm of the military needs me.
I can't. Your
Owl
mic's
has
off.
been able to locate me. I don't
So half hour.
hidden.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm a little sleepy baby. I didn't sleep good last night. I'm a sleepy baby.
Me too. And we have a little tiny baby spider here who needs his early bedtime because his father Snowman and his other father Tooth, they're just exhausted trying to take care of him.
Yeah, 12:30. We're sleepy. We're sleepy older ladies. We're 48. Come on.
I just am a pretty low-key guy. I don't maintain a very visible presence online. I try not to draw a lot of attention to myself, so that I can really just have the time and space to focus on what I'm passionate about, which is my work. So in the course of developing the human-animal communication techniques, I first started experimenting, having telepathic conversations with my
I love
cat,
that.
Gnome.
First tried with his cat.
And progressed from there to laboratory tests where I communicated with chimpanzees, pigs, dolphins.
Cats, chimpanzees, pigs, dolphins.
We discovered there was
That was a
hard limit
reference
that
to
we
John
don't,
Lilly right there. The
I
dolphin
love it.
experiment.
Using this technique with placental mammals, Carrie, I have stared for hours at kangaroos. Nothing. Silence.
She liked that one.
They have very quiet minds.
Kangaroos have very quiet minds, Carrie.
And it's because they have that reptilian mind. The reptilian brain. You know, the marsupial has a much more reptilian brain. So
it's closer to a bird in a certain sense.
Yes, and birds also lack that organic brain structure, the corpus callosum. So even though many species of bird can be very intelligent, it's a different kind of intelligence. They don't have the same kind of quality of communication between the two hemispheres of their brains. So they don't quite synthesize information in the same way that placental mammals with our more complex brains do. And so Squatch has a complex brain like a placental mammal. There is a structure in Squatch's brain that is similar to the corpus callosum, similar enough that the telepathic organelles in that structure were capable of exchanging information with the telepathic organelles in my corpus callosum. So
Okay, but before we go there,
She's like, I can only handle so much.
the thought.
I should back up a bit.
Yeah.
There's Noel.
If you can explain, because you were saying that you wrote these papers, you were doing these experiments, yes, captured this Squatch, as you call
Good,
it.
you got it.
Well, they
It
already
buffers
knew
really
me.
bad if
I
go
was
to another
still
screen late at night.
maintaining
I don't know why.
my ties with Black Kraken as a research community. So I was sending my findings to Black Kraken because who else would take me seriously? Like I said, they call me Dr. Doolittle. Project Black Kraken recognized the importance of my work and continued to fund and support me as I achieved increasingly more complex communication, first with various earth animals, and then as the need arose, they brought me in on the Squatch Project. So my understanding, because I was not there when this happened, but at some point in probably 2017, the US military captured one of these entities. He is a young male Squatch.
So concerned, and she's just
what
like,
we would call a bachelor Squatch.
a bachelor Squatch.
He is approximately 300 years old.
Oh, young bachelor.
A
And that is, in Squatch terms, about like a 22-year-old human. So young. Still basically a kid, but independent.
Okay.
So
when they brought you in, do they have to bring you into an underground base? I mean, where do they hold? Where were they holding? Are you at liberty to say where they were holding this captured?
I'm sorry,
broadly, I can say that I visited the Squatch on a base in the Pacific Northwest. It was at that time considered not advisable to remove the Squatch from the environment he was found in. However, it came to light that both of the factions I mentioned earlier, the interstellar factions, had an interest in using the existence of the Squatch and its species history with both the Draco and Palladian empires propagandistically. And because of our government's infiltration by Dracos, it was a decision we made as Project Black Kraken to remove the Squatch from Draco influences here in the United States. Our concern is, this gets a bit complicated. So, as I mentioned before,
Carrie's like, I only do complicated.
on the intergalactic scale, there are two major, I would call them alliances or coalitions, and one is centered around light work, and the other is centered around domination. But within the framework of the light workers, there has still been a history of conflict. So when we talk about Palladians, when I've engaged with less, I would say with more credulous people. I have
That was a
heard
slam
Pleiadians
against
described in almost
Carrie with more
exclusively
credulous people because they say that on Knowledge Fight a lot.
like
She's credulous.
heroic or even religious terms. And that's, I think, that says more about us than it does about any extraterrestrial intelligence. So I don't think you can judge an entire species based on its government.
No.
So when I say this, I want to be very clear, just as you know, a large number of the people in Project Black Kraken are Jewish. We're currently guests of the Israeli government, but we're American Jews, so we have our issues with both the U.S. and the Israeli governments. You can't judge an entire alien species by the actions of its
That
government.
was so slick of him.
So the
Carrie's
Pleiadians,
confused. You can
their
see
empire
the
does
puzzled look on her
have
face,
a
like,
history of
wait,
expansion.
He's Jewish and has
And
problems with the American
Squatch's
government and the
species
Israeli government.
were refugees, but they were
What's going
also
on?
refugees in the Draco Dominion. So neither empire has been particularly good for Squatch. There are no heroes.
I
to
have
the
that
Squatch.
button.
You know, heroes are an oppressive Western construct.
There are no heroes for the Squatch.
You know, it's almost it's like asking a Holocaust survivor, you know, who did the most for them. They're going to resent the question. So with that, I was considered
He's so good at this.
the person who was best situated to be able to exchange quality information to really communicate on an emotional and spiritual level with Squatch. Because of my background in anthropology, because of my work as a liaison, and because of my knowledge of primate behavior and ecology, Squatch is an alien primate.
When they out themselves, is he a counselor or is he an anthropologist?
He said that I believe he said his background was originally in anthropology, and then he became like a sociologist. And dude is like so left, like if only we could be as left as him when he was talking to Dan and Jordan. And just very smart guy. And I tried doing reverse image searches on him and stuff like that. And this was back when like the first Squatch episodes dropped on Knowledge Fight. Could not find him. I mean, he did a very good job. And if you look at your background, you look at my background, you look at Carrie's background.
Yeah.
If someone
all over, I have a digital footprint.
It's like with the "don't fuck with cats" thing. They were like, what kind of vacuum cleaner is it? Where is it?
Yeah.
Like there are clues in our backgrounds that reveal things about who we are. Notice how careful Berg is here.
It's completely white background.
Right there. And I know there was a shot of him in another interview where like you do see like a few things in the background, but very, very sparse.
Oh, it's so sparse.
He did a very good job of
he was brilliant.
And he's being honest when he says he doesn't really have an internet presence because he has successfully, which is probably something more of us should have done, was hide ourselves online better. But
I can tell you what, my boys are like that. They don't like their Facebooks. The only pictures are like ones that like family have tagged them in and stuff. They never use Facebook. They never use Twitter. They never use Instagram. They don't have any, like, which is unusual, right, for kids. And it's not the Snapchat. That's what they use with their friends. But other than that, you would be hard pressed to find them because I always told them, you're going to want to get a job someday. You're going to want to do this, that, or the other. And people look at your stuff, like employers.
Yeah, that's right. Kids these days are growing up having to go into adulthood, realizing that there's a trail they left online. You and I didn't have to worry about that when we were growing up.
And
it's
I told
crazy.
my kids
I
that.
never thought of that. I haven't. Wow.
And I was even like, when they got cell phones and they were allowed to text, I said, just remember on the other line of that phone, every time you text, there could be another parent on the other end of that phone, another mother, another father, an aunt, an uncle, a grandmother, a grandfather reading exactly what you just text. So think before you press send on that phone. So I instilled a lot in their head thinking about how to use technology. And it seemed to turn out well for them. One's a librarian and one's getting his master's and PhD. So talk to your kids about digital safety.
But I did just want to point out how good of a
But
job
I mean,
that
yeah,
Berg
I got
really
off track,
did.
but digital safety,
Yeah,
digital footprint. That's what we were
he
talking
did
about.
do a very good job. Like I don't know if he talked about how much time it took to prepare for this when he was interviewed by Dan and Jordan, but I mean,
you know, when I go to
he's-
bed tonight, what I'm going to listen to, right? I'm going to listen to the Squatch episodes because I'm curious now. Again,
he's doing world building, which is that's like what George Lucas did. George Lucas didn't just tell a story with Star Wars. There are encyclopedias about the flora and fauna in the Star Wars universe. That's world building. And that's what Solomon is doing here. He must have this hours
wouldn't have
and
just
hours.
been listening to like the Knowledge Fight Project Camelot episodes either. They would have had to go and look at Carrie's catalogs, the other secret soldiers she interviewed, just random episodes. They had to learn what Solar Warden was. Like that's a
and he
lot
would
of
have
research
to
look into to know.
Yeah, and aside from learning like the jargon and the mythology behind all this bullshit and stuff, being a sociologist, being an anthropologist, being who he is, you know that he combed through the other videos that she made, as if he was a detective looking for evidence. He's looking for physical cues from her. He's a smart guy. He, especially with an anthro and sociology background,
yeah,
he knows what to look for. He knows what engages her. And that's why it'd be really interesting to do a side by side of him mentioning a word to her and seeing her reaction, and then like another guest and like seeing if those reactions kind of match up. Because I'm telling you, this guy, being as smart he is with the background he has, he really
it's
did.
incredible. Well, the way her face lit up, and I only know because I've been watching more of her content. I did a lot over Christmas because I was tired of political stuff and, I was tired of stewing on stuff and everything. So I just threw myself into watching a lot of her content. And I know she doesn't take very fondly to the Greys and thinks, different things. So whenever he like portrayed the Greys as not being so great, her face lit up like that, just that smile. So that really touched a part of her cortex of happiness, the frontal lobe, whatever it is. Like she was like, that touched a part of her brain that was like, he doesn't like the Greys either. So like he knows what points to hit, that was interesting.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I think everyone should keep in mind. These people like Carrie Cassidy, Alex Jones, Sharon Sather, they like to talk about how they're awakened and a herd of sheeple who are still asleep, and that we're easily led like lemmings off a cliff because we fall in with consensus reality. Look how easily led Carrie is to any conclusion. The real sheeples, folks, are the fucking conspiracy theorists and the influencers. They're the real fucking sheeple.
They really are. It would be so easy for me, and it would be underhanded, and I'm not a good liar, to go right into a QAnon world. And I could jump right up to being a moderator. Like I could right up to the top slowly. I could infiltrate it and go, it would take some time, but I could do it in such a way that wouldn't even be noticeable.
I mean,
it's unethical.
And part of me wonders if some of these people, I don't know their histories, but like Jordan, so some of these people, they were once in reality, and they were probably like, there's no money to be made here, and also it's more fun, and
which is really gross. It's really
if you
gross.
want to tune out from reality and like get rid of your frustration or anger, I always tell people just play the fucking Sims, for fuck's sake. Stop playing with reality.
play a role-playing game. There's so many things that you can do online. Like just I've been drowning myself in Disney Dreamlight Valley. I run around with Mike, from Monsters Inc. He's my partner right now, so I can level him up.
Mike Wazowski.
Yeah.
Mike Wazowski.
I just unlocked their world, but that's what I've been doing. That's fun.
And I've been playing The Sims and watching Bob's Burgers I'm sure that pretty much anyone who's still here with us tonight has been tuning out a lot lately because that's how we survive. And I know that's part of their tactic to wear us out. But you know what?
Don't let them wear you out. You have to take breaks like Steph and I are talking.
If you have to tap out, bro, tap out, because your sanity is more important than some battle.
This is a marathon, not a race. Like it's gonna be a long haul.
And fascism is a process, not a destination.
Mhm.
And but no, this know when to tune out. No, and if you feel yourself slipping, you can reach out to me.
Me too.
I'm not gonna
always available.
But if you even if you feel like you're slipping into some of the Blue Anon stuff, we're not gonna make fun of you. We're not gonna address you publicly. You can contact us.
I never
privately, and we'll listen to you.
I mean, you
We'll
heard
hear
me
you
address
out.
like that woman tonight, and I didn't name who she was, and I wouldn't. I could have, but I wouldn't have said who it was.
If you feel yourself slipping, reach out to someone. It doesn't have to be us. It can be someone you trust. Just realize that there are going to be a lot of people lost to conspiracy theories in the next 4 years because this whole process of what's going on, it I don't know if it's meant to be a psyop, but and I'm not trying to throw around a term like, because conspiracy theorists use that term all the time. A psychological operation is a series of events that, whether through explicit planning or otherwise, are made to absolutely demoralize and destroy your fucking brain, fucks with your head.
Wear you down.
That's what all this shit is doing. So it's okay when you need to tune out.
And turn off notifications on your phone. Sometimes tune those off. I know a lot of people have news alerts set on your phone, and you think you have to hear every news article. You don't. The news is still going to be there. It will be. You can check it tomorrow. You don't have to know everything that happens.
And everything's going to suck just as much. Like, it doesn't have to be an immediate thing. And if you need therapy, and you can't afford it, look into some special programs, but don't. If you want to have a drink once in a while, okay, but don't turn to drugs, don't turn to alcohol. There's a lot of mental health dangers that are in front of us, and no matter how strong we think we are,
we're all susceptible.
And I just want to reach out to people before that happens, because I know that everything that's going on, this is the shit that breaks you. This is the shit that breaks you. This. And don't let it break you.
No. I think that's a really good way to end tonight. I marked on our time, but I think that was a nice
I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
I
I think
just wanted
I think it's a nice way to go out on with a positive message to share with everybody, about things and tactics that they can use and that we're available if they do need to reach out, and if we can't help them, we can certainly find somebody else they can talk to or help them with some resources, and organizations
also,
they can get in contact with.
Don't feel, I've been dealing with this a lot. I'm like, oh, I should be doing other stuff, but I'm just sitting here listening to Bob's Burgers and playing Sims, and
that's
okay.
I
have to tell myself, look, you have to know yourself. You have to know what you're capable of. You have to know your limits. You can't, the dose makes the poison, as they say, and it's okay if you feel that you need to tap out because you need to take care of yourself, and
I went to bed last night I think I laid down in my bed at 8:30 and just watched YouTube videos, like funny ones. I just laid in bed and was watching funny YouTube videos, and I stayed there all night until the morning. snuggled up with my fur babies in bed. And, that was it. And that was fine for me. And I thought for a second, like, I should really get up and do something. I thought, no, I'm just going to lay in bed. Like, and watch YouTube videos. Like, it's okay to do that.
I mean, and really honestly, we just have to work on the micro level, because on the macro level, I mean, I think we can all be honest and say it's all fucked.
Yeah.
The courts, all these like lawyers that are trying to like stop some of these actions that are going through. Well, that's good on you, but it's not going to do anything. And they probably know that it's not going to do anything, but it's important that they're doing it, and I appreciate that. But there are no more adults in the room. No one. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. I apologize that I'm saying this shit. I feel horrible for saying it. But there are no adults in the room. We're kind of on our own, and
no, I think that's important. We do have to work at the micro level. I mean, in your communities, like you really do. And that's where mutual aids come into focus. Like if you go to church, you have your local church. If there's local food banks, if there's, places that work with migrants, if there's places, for people of color, people that work with the LGBTQIA plus community, look for those groups. There's so many things in your local communities that you can do that maybe you've been missing out on, unhoused programs, and things of that nature, helping the elderly, food banks. There's so many things.
And if you're a witness to one of these raids, the best thing that you can do is stand back inconspicuously. Don't let them know you're there. Videotape everything, but live stream it so that if they do see you and they take your phone, that video is already out there.
Yeah,
that is the best thing you can do. If there's a protest, there's a protest. Don't let them see you, which would be very, very difficult for me to do with my big fucking mouth. And this is what Quacks had told me, that if I'm ever a witness to this, he said, no, you don't yell. You don't even let them know that you're watching. You record it. For everybody
then all the
to
proof's
see.
right there.
Yeah. And don't listen to Michael Moore. Don't listen to the resist accounts typing hashtag resist
And can we
over and over
stop
again.
with people keep retweeting, and Snowda Bishop, and there's some other Blue Anon accounts that keep retweeting it, and I keep fucking seeing it. Trump's president. There is nothing that's going to get him out of it. Quit feeding that goddamn hopium that there's some magical cure, that there's something in the Constitution and amendments that are going to get him not to be president. That is Blue Anon hopium. It's not going to happen. Face the facts. He's president. Move along. Help your local communities and find real solutions. Retweeting that bullshit isn't helping anyone. I'm sorry. I've been seeing it and it's pissing me off.
Yeah. And like that Trump's for Latino fake photo.
Yes. Stop it.
If you see something that makes you feel giddy with glee,
yes,
question it twice as hard. Because the first thing I did, I was like, oh, this aligns so much with my Schadenfreude right now. So I quick Googled it, and it was fake.
Yeah. Stuff that's making
just
you
like
feel
the
good.
global warming, the Greta Thunberg was right sticker on the back of the car that like burst in, was like in a flood, or a car in a flood with a sticker on the back that said global warming isn't real or something.
Yeah,
that was bullshit too. Look, you know what?
These pictures where they make like, oh, Trump's in bed with Putin, and oh, look at them, they're girls wearing lipsticks. You laughed. Oh, you're making fun of gay people. That make you feel good? How is that helping your local community? How is that helping what's going to be happening at GetWell? None of this shit's happening. Stop it. Do some real world bullshit. Do some real world shit, I meant to say. What you're doing is bullshit.
Yeah. And even if even if it's your next door neighbor and they're like, I'm having a hard time affording rent this week.
Yeah.
If on the micro level, help your friends, help your family, give to, donate to things that you trust, and just be there for other people and know when to tap out.
Be kind to each other when you're out there. Be kind.
I mean, because this we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know.
We
don't. And just keep in mind that it starts with the immigrants, doesn't end with them.
No. No.
We've
doesn't.
seen this before many times.
With that,
I'm sorry. I know I'm a
No,
downer.
Steph, no, it's not a downer. It's reality, and this is what we're facing. This is what needs to be said. But I love you. Thank you for everybody that
love
came
you too.
tonight. And we will see you all next Wednesday. And more Squatch and whatever other episode we're going to cover. I don't know. Squatch will be at the end, but whatever episode we're going to cover next week, we'll talk about it and we will see. Love you, Steph. Thank
See
you
you
everybody
guys.
for
Love ya.
coming. Bye.
Bye.
I don't need new tires, but stay tuned for the next episode.
We're going to have to be smart. We're going to have to be strategic. We're going to have to be aggressive.
I'm an alpha guy.
I'll flip a table every time you aren't getting by.
Let's go. Just push.
It's all psychological warfare.
I'm not part of QAnon.
We know what they are doing.
For Trump. Da, 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 da.
If shit goes wrong, like I will literally have to leave the country.
Stop that.
I'll land my initial plane.
Okay, high
I
five.
worked
This
a
isn't the
lot.
hi-fi show.
Good night. Nighty night.